Hi, my name is Abby Leese, and I'm the pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Etters. And I wanted to take this opportunity to wish you all a Merry Christmas. But I've realized as I thought about that I really can't guarantee you a Merry Christmas. I can't give you the gift of a happy Christmas season. I wish that I could, but I can't actually make that happen in your life. Our culture gives us the impression that Christmas is this great time of great joy to everyone all the time. Our culture has given us the impression that Christmas is this time of family reconciliation, it's a time of great generosity and gratitude, that it's this joyous moment for everyone every year. But in fact, and as we have all experienced, Christmas is oftentimes one of the hardest times of the year. It's a time of financial stress. It's a time of feeling overwhelmed by the expectations others place on us. It's a time of sometimes depression and grief. It's a time of anxiety. It's a time of loneliness. Christmas can be all the things that we wish it wasn't. And so while I really want to wish you a Merry Christmas, I know I can't do that. I can't give you that gift. Which is why it's so important that Christmas isn't really about the holiday that our culture has made it into. Christmas is about Jesus being born into our world. And that is something that does make a difference. Jesus being born into our lives and into our world means that Jesus is with us when we are lonely, when we are sad, when we are anxious, when we are depressed. Jesus is with us in our pain, in our grief. And sometimes that doesn't really seem like much, that Jesus is with us. Why isn't Jesus doing something about those things? Well, Jesus is doing something about those things, maybe not the way we want him to be doing something about them. But when Jesus is with us, Jesus is the kind of guy we want to be with us in those moments. Because not only does Jesus know how to deal with them, because he has been there before. Jesus has been in pain. Jesus has been alone. Jesus has been through temptation. Not only has Jesus been in all those broken places of our world before, but Jesus is bigger than they are. Jesus is able to actually do something about our depression. Jesus is actually able to do something about our hurt. And it may not be the thing that we want it to be at that moment, but we can be assured that Jesus is in fact with us and is in fact working to heal us each and every moment of each and every day. And so, while I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, instead what I'm going to do is celebrate with you that Jesus is being born into our world again this year, and that actually does mean something and does actually make a difference. And that is a promise that I can make to you, that Jesus is in fact being born into our world again. I'd like to share with you the story of Jesus' birth from my most favorite children's Bible, the Jesus Story Bible. This story is called He's Here. Everything was ready. The moment God had been waiting for was here at last. God was coming to help his people just as he had promised in the beginning. But how would he come? What would he be like? What would he do? Mountains would have bowed down, seas would have roared, trees would have clapped their hands, but the earth held its breath. As silent as snow falling, he came in, and when no one was looking, in the darkness he came. There was a young girl who was engaged to a man named Joseph. Joseph was the great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson of King David. One morning, this girl was minding her own business when suddenly a great warrior of light appeared, right there in her bedroom. He was Gabriel, and he was an angel, a special messenger from heaven. When she saw the tall, shining man standing there, Mary was frightened. "You don't need to be scared," Gabriel said. "God is very happy with you." Mary looked around to see if perhaps he was talking to someone else. "Mary," Gabriel said, and he laughed with such gladness that Mary's eyes filled with sudden tears. "Mary, you are going to have a baby, a little boy. You will call him Jesus. He is God's own son. He is the one. He's the rescuer. God who flung the planets into space and kept them whirling around and around. The God who made the universe with just a word. The one who could do anything at all was making himself small and coming down as a baby." Wait, God was sending a baby to rescue the world? "But it's too wonderful," Mary said, and felt her heart beating hard. "How can it be true?" "Is anything too wonderful for God?" Gabriel asked. So Mary trusted God more than what her eyes could see, and she believed. "I am God's servant," she said. "Whatever God says, I will do." Sure enough, it was just as the angel had said. 9 months later, Mary was almost ready to have her baby. Now Mary and Joseph had to take a trip to Bethlehem, the town King David was from. But when they reached the little town, they found every room was full, every bed was taken. "Go away," the innkeeper told them. "There isn't any place for you." Where would they stay? Soon Mary's baby would come. They couldn't find anywhere except an old tumble-down stable. So they stayed where the cows and the donkeys and the horses stayed. And there in the stable, amongst the chickens and the donkeys and the cows, in the quiet of the night, God gave the world this wonderful gift. The baby that would change the world was born, his baby son. Mary and Joseph wrapped him up to keep him warm. They made him a soft bed of straw and used the animal's feeding trough as his cradle. And they gazed in wonder at God's great gift, wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger. Mary and Joseph named him Jesus, Emmanuel, which means God has come to live with us, because of course he has.